share with you in some depth 3 key takeaways that I believe are important to business leaders navigating through these extraordinarily uncertain times. Then at the end, as a special bonus for being on the call today, you're going to get 3 things in addition to the valuable content that I will be sharing with you. As the leader of a small business today, I don't have to tell you how important agility, confident decisions, and uncovering value are to your company's ability to survive and thrive over the next few years. Sherry, if you could please put up slide number 2. So today what I'm going to share with you are 3 things that are going to help you do that. The first thing I'm going to share with you is how I went from a mess as an online marketer to a best-selling author on the topic, and I'll share with you what my turning point was. The second thing I'm going to share with you today are 5 things you can do to gain trust online. And the third thing I'm going to share with you today are 3 myths that you've been led to believe by others that are causing you to limit your ability to gain trust online. Excuse me. So let's start with my mess and how I turn things around. Toronto's been my home all my life. I grew up in a modest suburban home in the North End. Mom and Dad had split up when I was 6 years old, and that was pretty tough for me, and it took me many years to get through. I had trouble learning in school, which was a combination of attention deficit, and I just wasn't interested in what they wanted to teach me. Well, as I was impatient and full of drive, at the age of 19, I started my first business, which, as Sherry mentioned, was a local expedited courier company here in the Greater Toronto area. I worked hard and had some luck along the way. In over 24 years, I found great people and expanded into the United States, into trucking, air freight, warehousing, and small package delivery across the country. And those were amazing years. And one of the highlights was, of course, being honored by the Toronto Board of Trade as Company of the Year for Business Excellence. But when the internet originally hit my radar around the year 2000, my reaction was, meh. I didn't understand it, and I guess I really didn't want to change. I wanted to continue doing what worked before, and unfortunately, that was my fatal mistake. 3.5 years into the Great Recession of 2007, 2008, and I realized technology had changed, I hadn't kept up, and the timing was right to sell my business. But because I was such a mess as an online marketer, I was determined to meet my mistake head on. The turning point for me was when I started to realize that I had to learn from innovators and experts who are playing at a higher level online and thinking differently. So I invested a lot of time and a lot of money to learn from the folks that had already figured it out. And because I did that, some amazing things started happening. In a relatively short period of time, I was helping hundreds of businesses to increase their prospecting effectiveness by several hundred, and in some cases, several thousand%. And because of my experience using this stuff, I was able to write a best-selling book and help countless others to attract high-quality prospects to their businesses using proprietary marketing tools and methods. Today, I spend the majority of my time educating and guiding business leaders through the foggy conditions that we are all trying to figure out how to adapt to. It's rewarding. I love what I do, and I'm grateful for the opportunity I have to give back at this stage in my life. So enough about me. And for the time we have left, I'll share with you what I've learned about one of the fundamental keys to successful selling online, and that is trust. Trust is more important than ever in today's uncertain world. And to appreciate the significance, let's take a few minutes to unpack what trust actually is, because we generally see it as a combination of attributes, like reliance, and in terms of marketing, it can sometimes be confused with the intention of building credibility. To hit the bullseye on trust marketing, we need to look at why it is so important. Sherry, if you can put up the next slide, that would be awesome. This trust has 3 fundamental traits, shown here in what I call the trust triangle. It's made of three things: empathy, rigorous logic, and authenticity. When all three are on display with an interaction in the real world, like on your website, we move up on the trust spectrum in the minds of others, and they develop an intangible sense that they know you or your company to the degree that they no longer associate you as unknown or a stranger. And of course, trust grows. When starting at a known factor of 0, Google's research suggests that a buyer needs the following. Yes, Google's research. The average buyer needs 7 hours of interaction across 11 different touch points in 4 different locations in order to make a purchase decision. This is known as the 0 moment of truth. And I suggest you Google the 0 moment of truth. Personally, I take this as a rule of thumb to work towards as buyers begin with differing levels of preformed innate trust, preformed innate trust. And the nature of purchase decisions vary widely across and within industry verticals. Of the 3 components of the trust triangle, business leaders are most likely to wobble on empathy and authenticity. We can sometimes lean too heavily on the logic of what our product can solve for the user, their pain or problem that your service may alleviate for them, or the tangible gain that they may receive if all goes well and your customer uses your offering to its fullest potential. What makes logic less likely to negatively affect the trust factor is because it can be followed along cognitively and can be made to appear rational and rigorously thought through. But if your logic has a fundamental flaw or its believability is a stretch, you will lose the audience. You can use data to add credibility to the important trust points that your audience will naturally hone in on. Empathy and authenticity lean more towards an internal feeling, a sense, or an instinct. And logic is rarely effective at overcoming the absence of empathy and authenticity. Reason and logic are persuasive, but we are moved by emotion. Several studies conclude that up to 90% of the decisions we make are based on emotion, and we use logic to justify our actions to ourselves and to others. Empathy is all about understanding the position that your prospect is currently in and displaying that understanding in a skilled way. Questions are often more effective than direct points. They allow the reader, listener, or viewer to ruminate on the question for a few seconds. That you have asked a thoughtful and skilled question contributes to their appreciation of your understanding their position. Authenticity is a tough one to nail down, though we all know when we do not sense it, or if it's not, what's the word I'm looking for? If it's not authentic, if you will. Use trusted, skilled folks that know you to evaluate your marketing communications for authenticity. Okay, let's switch gears now and consider for a moment what your prospects are experiencing and how their conditions and coping abilities likely vary to a large degree. Generally, what are your prospects experiencing in their personal and professional lives right now? Most likely the same as you and I. Some anxiety, definitely some uncertainty, and maybe some degree of fear. The lockdown has amped up our innate drive for safety and security because fellow human beings can unknowingly make us ill or much worse. You probably observe this whenever you're in close proximity to another person. We avoid each other while walking apart, on a sidewalk, or standing in a socially distanced lineup at a store or service provider of some sort. What's the result? Well, excuse me, as your body perceives stress, your adrenal glands make and release the hormone cortisol right into your bloodstream. And this is often called the stress hormone because cortisol causes an increase in your heart rate and your blood pressure. As a result, we can intuit a higher threshold to reach trust online. Overlay the financial uncertainties of people and companies alike, and it's a recipe for paying keen attention to your company's ability to communicate consistently and effectively within the trust triangle. Now, here are 5 things that you can do to gain trust online. Number 1, use video a lot. Now more than ever, the use of multisensory communications is critical online. The trend to video is not new or groundbreaking. However, there are innovative ways to make the medium far more effective than what we traditionally see on websites and on YouTube. Use the trust triangle as a guideline and evaluation tool for your videos. Number 2, communicate with lightheartedness. These times call for communications that are subtly uplifting, positively forward-looking, and do not remind the viewer, reader, or listener to be brought back to a state of concern and worry. I think we have passed the point of needing to reference the COVID and financial conditions in our communications. If you can make it work, humor is the most effective tool to connect and lower stress levels in your audience. It's not easy to pull off, but when I have seen it used selectively and subtly, it is disarming, impactful, and endears your audience to you if delivered authentically and, of course, tastefully. Number 3, use your unique voice. The challenge I have seen with some small businesses is the tendency to overcome a lack of online credibility or familiarity within their company by using by using logical appeals and impressive language or narrative. A viewer of your website should be able to hear your tone and see, read, or hear displays of the trust triangle throughout. Another trap we sometimes fall into is wanting to tell the audience that we have those trust triangle traits in some way. Trust triangle traits, say that 30 times quick. Think creatively and display rather than say that you have those traits and tendencies. The phrase I use to remind myself while developing content is, Joel, don't say it, display it. Sherry, if you wouldn't mind going back to the trust triangle, I don't want to give everyone all the surprises that they're going to get at the end.
Yes, sorry.
That's okay. We're in a little intimate setting today, so that's great. And number 4, of course, is to teach them something new. Make sure you share with your prospects something that they don't know, that's relatable to their current problem or pain, or present something they already know, but from a perspective that is new to them. This serves 3 purposes. You educate the prospect related to your product solution, you illustrate rigorous logic, and you make them feel good by learning something new. And of course, when we learn something new, we always feel good. The net result of these 3 benefits is that it endears them to you and builds trust in your expertise of the subject matter. Number 5, share the why and what, but not the how. Educate your target customers freely and generously with as much useful content as you can create, and plan your content for multi-purposing it across platforms. Go deep into the why. These are the reasons and causes of your prospects' pain points and are an effective way to teach them something new or remind them of something they know but present it from a unique perspective. Going deep into the why is a way to display your empathy. Share with them the what. Share alternative ways to solve their most important problem, including ones that you do not offer for comparison. Be honest and spell out for them where you do really well and acknowledge that there are other options if their priorities are not aligned with your key attributes. Now, why would anyone ever do this? Well, because the vast majority of customer complaints, returns, and service issues will likely come from clients that do not value the unique combination of benefits that you offer anyway. You spare yourself from attrition problems and at the same time display logic and build trust with your target prospects. Okay, now I'm going to share with you the 3 myths I mentioned at the beginning. And these are myths that you've been led to believe by others that are causing you to limit your ability to gain trust online. The first myth that you may have been led to believe by others is that testimonials establish trust. Well, to a certain extent they do, and to a certain extent they help. But today, people have read so many testimonials over the years, they've lost faith in their validity. They've lost a lot of their value. It's useful to have testimonials on your site, but what really, when you think about it, what people really want to read are reviews, and as many as you can possibly get. Statistics show that 90% of people, whether it's B2B, B2C, product or service, will look for reviews before buying any products or service. Reviews are a combination of star ratings and a comment, which is just like a testimonial. However, unlike a testimonial, we see both positive and negative reviews. Believe it or not, people want to see both good and not so good reviews, so they can determine how you respond and resolve an unhappy customer. This builds what I call mega trust. More than just having 5 stars, because it shows your potential clients that you're only human and you make mistakes at times, but are willing to rectify the situation. In fact, statistically, you can increase your conversion rate by as much as 85% by having a negative review that you've resolved. So if you have a negative review, don't lose any sleep over it, unless, of course, all your reviews are negative, then we need to have another conversation. So having a negative review in there, it's okay. In fact, if there's more than, I think, 35 or 40 reviews that are all 5-star for a company and that's all they have, people don't trust that, and you can actually kill your brand. So be very careful when you're putting your reviews and you're talking to your customers. Make sure that you respond to all reviews, not just the negative ones. The second myth that you've been led to believe by others is that third-party review platforms are enough to help show your trust factor. These are platforms like Google, Google reviews, Yelp, depending on your industry. Almost every industry has a directory for reviews. And Google does very well with reviews. Many people trust Google reviews. However, when people look for reviews on Google, they might be redirected to your competition. If you have a Google My Business page, in many cases, not all cases, at the bottom of your Google My Business page, you have your reviews at the top, you have your company information, you have the testimonials and reviews that people have put there. At the very bottom of that page, sometimes Google will suggest what other people searched. That's just a fancy way of saying, here's some of your competitors that your potential customers can look at. So the problem with that, and the same thing that goes for Yelp, is that when I search for reviews and go into Yelp, I see all your competition advertising on your page. And this causes me to see other options and potentially losing me as a customer. So of course, when someone hears about you, the first place they're going to go is your website to see if you are trustworthy, credible, and capable. At that point, if they like what they see, now they're going to check a review. They want to see what other people think about you. This is almost the final hurdle before somebody buys, is when they're checking reviews. Think of your own behavior. What you want the prospect's decision to be, which products or services of yours I as a customer should buy from, not which company, including your competitors, should I choose to buy from. Unfortunately, with most third-party review platforms, you're at risk for the prospect to choose somebody else. And not even to mention, when somebody puts in your company name plus the word reviews, a third-party platform might outrank you and push your website down, causing me to click on that and go into, say, Yelp or another third-party review site. So with all third-party platforms, as I said, you are at risk for your client to choose somebody else. The third myth that you've been led to believe by others is that it's difficult to get reviews. In most cases, people believe that getting reviews is work. The problem is that most companies don't have a system in place. They're asking their customers at the end of a transaction, or worse, not at all, to now do extra work for you. That's why on average, only about 2 to 4% of people actually leave a review without being asked. When you use an effective system, they actually want to give you reviews. And here's what your system must address. It must be easy, convenient, and fast for the customer to leave a review. Most companies that do ask do so only at the end of the transaction. It must be introduced early in the sales cycle, and again in the middle of the purchase process, and then at the end after they've gone through the entire experience of doing business with you. But you have to be subtle. You want to infer along the way that leaving a review is part of the transaction process of doing business with you. And you must follow up at least once after the transaction. Now, that might sound like a lot of work to you, but the system that I use, it's automated, easy to use, and gets results. Okay, so I shared with you my mess and my turning point, the 5 things you can do to gain trust online, and the 3 myths you've been led to believe by others that are causing you to limit your ability to gain trust online. So I covered everything I promised. What I'd like to know is how many of you learned at least one new thing that you didn't know before my talk, or how many of you were reminded of at least one new thing? Would you type yes in the comments window below, or just type in what you may have learned? I'd just like to see I'd just like to see what you've learned. I'll give you a second, or just type in yes. Ah, good. Thanks, Darcel. Yeah. Negative reviews that are responded to build negative trust. Right. Awesome. Great. So we do have a little more time. And since we have some time left, Sherry, do you think the audience here, or why don't we show of hands here, who would like to see the review platform I was discussing and its benefits?
Yes, you want to see the review platform. It's excellent. I love mine. I have to honestly say I have it, and that I love it. It's worthwhile jumping in and having a peek at it. Okay. So Joel, yeah, let's have a peek at it, Joel.
Awesome. Okay, just give me a second here. Okay, I'm just going to share my screen. Just give me a moment. So why don't we use your website? Sherry, we'll use yours and mine.
Okay, that sounds great.
Excellent, excellent. So we now see we're sitting on Sherry's website with this lovely smile here. So somebody hears about Sherry, or somebody hears about your business, where are they going to go first? Well, they're going to go here to your website. And I go through it, we'll look at your products, your services, legitimize that the reason for them being there. And now I'm going, yeah, I think that's interesting, but I really want to know what people think. I want to know what other people think. And some statistics that I can tell you is that millennials trust reviews as much as personal recommendations. And as I said before, 90% of people look for reviews before buying any product or service, so you want them to be right on your website when leaving a review. This does a few, sorry, Jared.
No, I was just going to say to everyone, this has helped me immensely. I believe I put this on my site about 4 years ago, Joel. I think it's been now.
Yep.
And it has been so worth it for me. I get a lot of people that will phone me and say, I read your reviews on your website. What a great place to have it. And yeah, it has been worth every penny.
Great, great. I'm glad. And I hear this all the time from a lot of my clients, because it really helps you to control your online reputation. Because if you see here in Sherry's, we have Peterborough Chamber via Google. Now, Google is considered to be one of the most trusted areas for reviews. So if I see a Google review on your website, why do I need to leave and go to Google? I don't. I can make the decision right away. So in this platform, we actually will pull in the last 5 Google reviews that were left on your Google My Business page. If you don't have a Google My Business page and you do have a website, I strongly urge you to have one, and to set one up, you just go into Google and type in how to set up my Google business page, because that will also legitimize your business online in Google's eyes. It's very important that you do that. If you don't have a Google My Business, that's okay, because people will be able to leave reviews directly on your site very simply. And I'll get into that in a second. So we can see that the Peterborough Chamber was here. I can like that if I want. As I scroll down, we can see that other people left reviews, and she has a lot of good reviews here. A lot of good reviews. Well, we have one down here, but that's okay. That's from Google. That was 2 years ago. And if you do have a negative review, most people don't give a lot of credibility to reviews that are more than 6 months or a year. So, you know, if you have mostly 5 stars, you have a few 4, 3s or 2s that were older, because in some cases, someone's taking over a business. Maybe you have recently taken over a business and they have a reputation. You know, I tell those companies to, when people are leaving reviews, to mention that since the new management has taken over or something like that. That kind of is transitioning into the new business with a new reputation. I did have a client that came on board. I didn't know that they bought the company out, but that prior company had horrible online reputation. It was hurting his business. So together we worked through that, and he's gotten through those reviews. He was able to get Google to remove them because it was a new business and a new ownership. Very, very lucky, because it's very tough to get reviews removed from Google. So this is the review platform that Sherry has. Now, a person could leave a review directly just by clicking write a review. Then they would have to create an ID, password, so on and so forth. Or you can log in with your Gmail, or you can log in with your Facebook. However, Sherry didn't know that we're actually going to be upgrading the platform very shortly to provide a whole bunch of new features. Now, I'll show you what those features are. And so I logged into Sherry's dashboard without her knowing. And what we see and what you would get in this platform, and the platform, by the way, is called YORP, Y-O-R-P, which stands for Your Own Review Platform. It's the only platform in the world that will help to boost your organic ranking in Google. And why is this? Well, Google has now determined and now has announced that in local search, the third most important factor in ranking is having reviews in your website. So by having reviews in your website, this will help with your ranking. And this is because Google understands the fact that a lot of people want reviews. So what we see here is we see how many people have actually just looked at her reviews, because that's what we track. We also can do many other things with this platform. So all we do is we click on this little button here called Envy. Whoops. Let me go back to here again. Oh, I don't know why is it going there. Let me see. That's because we haven't upgraded it yet. We're doing that this week. So let's go to my website. I should have checked this before. So on my site, and on your site as well, will be changed. We also going to have what's called it's kind of like a rotating banner. Oops, okay. Let me just close this down.
So those bands are going to scroll across the page?
Right, at the bottom here, they scroll, and we can install that. That's just part of the platform if a client wants. And why is it important to have this on your homepage? Because there are 5 things that well, there's more than 5, but there's 5 things, important things that every website needs to attract new clients. One of them, as I said, is trust or social proof. Because you only give your potential customers, they only have, well, you have maybe 2 to 5 seconds to establish trust and to get them to stay on your website. And when we build websites for our clients, we take that into account along with the 5 things that I'm going to give you as a gift today. So not only can we put this on your site, we can click on leave more reviews or see more reviews.
Cool.
And it's going to show you kind of the same thing that Sherry's shown. Whereas with mine, I have people reviewing my book. I have people reviewing my strategies. And of course, I'll just log in here.
So now we can use text messaging now too with this platform.
Ah, you've been doing a little research. So yeah, absolutely. I'll show you in a second here.
So now if I understand, you can do up 100 messages per month?
You can do, you can send, what's included monthly is up to 100 text messages. So there's a few things that we can do in this Invi that's connected. We just actually built this over the last few months. So there's more than reviews, because I'm not sure how many of you have heard of text marketing. How many of you have received some type of message from a business on your phone? Just by a show of hands, if you could. So someone sends you a promotion and you get that on your cell phone. Statistically, 98% of all text messages are opened within the first 3 minutes. You compare that to email, where only 60% of all emails are opened or less. So what we can do is we can ask for a review request through text marketing. So you could make it so simple for your client. We just click on send review request, and you can send it out by email or text to a single person, or you can send out multiple emails. You can send out 200 at a time. You could send out 100 texts at a time. You know, you're not going to send out 100 texts to 100 people to get 100 reviews unless you just installed our system and you want to send out review requests to all of your customers. It makes it so easy because they just click, they just put in their comment, they hit send, and it automatically shows up on your website. Very simple, very easy. All you do is you put in their phone number, and as I scroll down here, you'll see put in their name, any additional comments that you'd like to mention to personalize that text message, and this is the text message that they would see, which can be modified, of course, for your business. At this point, we send it, and the person will get a notification, and as soon as it's done, there's a way of tracking that the person looked at your or sent a review. Plus, you're going to get an email instantly once someone leaves a review. Very easy, very simple. You can also do something called text marketing in this platform. Text marketing is just like you've received before, but now you have your own text marketing platform in addition to reviews. You can create your own little banner, you can send up your own little message, and you can send that out to your database. You can also download a database of your contacts into the system so you can push out marketing messages and text messages. And you know, sometimes you have an appointment and you want to confirm, got to send out a text or this or that. But what you can also do is send out an appointment reminder to someone that you have an appointment with by text. If they say, no, I can't make it, need to reschedule, you get an email right away, and it will show you exactly everything that they mentioned, whether they can make it or whether they cannot make it, and it's instant. And one of the newest things, yeah, go ahead, Sherry.
I was just going to say, who needs a CRM?
Right. Right.
It's all here, basically.
It's like a marketing CRM.
Yes.
Plus, you can also run surveys now through it. You've heard of SurveyMonkey? Well, you can create your own survey. This is all included. We're beta testing exams and so on and so forth. As our clients request different things, we continue to build this technology.
Oh, I'm going to like this.
Yes. And so essentially, this is the review platform. One of the most powerful things about this review platform is when I mentioned before, I said that, let's say someone doesn't go to your website first. Let's say someone goes to Google and types in your name plus the word reviews. And this is where we talked about being exposed in terms of redirecting your potential customers to a competitor. So what do? So let's say I'm searching for SDP communications. So I would type in, like most people, SDP communications reviews. And what do we see? Well, we see Glassdoor. This may or may not be Sherry. Now, why is Glassdoor showing up here? The reason, very simply, is that Google sees Glassdoor as a massive content publisher around the employee. This is a review platform for employees that can leave reviews anonymously, but this is just SDP. This is not necessarily Sherry, so we must be careful. But what we do know is that her review page is showing up twice here. So the chances, since this is an SDP, we have Indeed down here, Clutch, Facebook, Trustpilot, SDB Communications here, but we really don't have anything other than we have the Google reviews here. But this way, this will force me to click here. So if this was, let's say, above Yelp, then people would click on this. And the whole idea is because when I type in your name plus reviews and all these third-party platforms show up, it's not fair. This is your space. It's out of control. You don't know how many customers were redirected to your competitors because you forced them to leave your website to look for reviews. It's a cardinal rule that you're breaking, is forcing people to leave your website. Because as we all know, you don't want anyone to leave your website. And the longer people are staying on your website, the better it helps with your organic ranking. People are reading the reviews, so they're going to be on your website longer. That also helps with your organic ranking. So it has multiple benefits in addition to just getting reviews from your customers. Very, very, very powerful platform. And we've been marketing this platform now, and we built it all in-house. We have other very, very disruptive technologies that we have built. And if anyone is open or interested in seeing what else we can do for you, feel free to reach out to me, and we'll share that with you right now, actually. So we've got about 15 minutes left. And what I'd like to do is to, I guess everybody here would like to know what those 3 extra things are that we're going to give you today. So Sherry, if you wouldn't mind sharing the screen and putting up the next slide after the trust triangle. There we go. So the first thing you're going to get, just hit the, is your own review platform to try out for 2 months. When you sign up, you get your first 2 months free. And if any time before the end of that 2 months you're not happy and you want to cancel, no problem. We want to make sure that you're really happy with this platform, and we're putting our money where our mouth is. We normally give 1 month free, 30 days, but Sherry asked me if there's anything I can give to the audience today as an extra bonus. So I said, okay, well, why don't we make it 2 months free? So to claim it, all you need to do is go to signup.winningonlinebook, which just happens to be this book, coincidentally, .com. And that'll bring you to a special landing page, and you can sign up. Make sure you put in the code P as in Papa 124. Again, that's P124. And it will show you that your first invoicing date is 60 days down the road. And you get to try it out for 2 months. If you're happy with it, just continue and continue to enjoy the benefits of that. The second thing you're going to get today is free gift. And as I said before, you're going to get a document that's the 5 things that every website must have to attract new customers. And to get that, just go to my website, which is winningonlinebook.com. Again, winningonlinebook.com. And there, you'll see these 3 options. One of the options is to get that document. Click on that button, fill out your information, and you'll have a document downloaded of the 5 things that you need to attract new customers on your website. And the third thing you're going to get is to connect with me. If you don't already know me, you can ask me a question and sign up to get some online marketing strategies and tactics. Later this year, I'm going to be doing a monthly newsletter and giving my followers some extra tips and tricks in terms of online. And for that, just go to my website again, winningonlinebook.com. At the very top, there's going to be a menu item. Click the Contact Me button, send me a message, and I'll be more than happy to have a chat with you. So to sum up, Sherry, if you could put the next slide. These are the three things that you're going to get today for being on this call. Your own review platform, your free gift, and an opportunity to connect with me. And because we have such an intimate group today, I'm going to actually extend something else. That if you want to connect with me, what I'd like you to do is send me your most burning online marketing question, and I'd be more than happy to help you with an answer. Now, what I'd like to do, if we have a few more minutes, if anyone has any questions or any queries, anything I brought up today, we do have a few more minutes. So if you'd like, you can just type it into the chat, or Sherry, it's up to you since you're the hostess with the mostest today, whether you want to open it up and we can just talk.
Well, I think I'll open it up and we can let everyone talk. It is in a small, intimate group, and we can just enjoy a conversation.
Sure.
Okay. So if everyone wants to unmute, that would be great. Darcella, did you learn lots today?
Yes, it's very good. Thank you. Thanks,
Good.
Joel.
My pleasure, Darcel. Is there any questions you have about currently online marketing, or any questions about what I went over today?
Not right yet. I did unfortunately drop off the call. My internet connection went, so I did miss number 3 myth, but I'm sure I'll be able to pick that up as we go here. So.
Yeah, the third myth, I'll just for you, because we've all been on the call already. The third myth that I talk about is that it's difficult to get reviews, Darcel.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because it's a lot of work for a lot of companies, and most people don't have an effective review system to address reviews with their customers. And that's exactly, obviously, what this platform could resolve for you.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is there any other questions for Joel? Seems like an awful quiet group. I know I am going to be looking forward to seeing my website reskinned, as well as all the new updates. I'll definitely be in there learning it. I like the fact that you can now send out a text message. I'm going to give that a try and see how that works. So I have a few new clients this past 6 months that I would like to reach out and ask for a review. So I think this might be my opportunity to give that a try.
Yeah, very simply, just ask them. If they say yes, just say expect a text from me to leave your review. Oh, one other thing I didn't mention about the platform is that when it sends the review request, it asks them first if they want to leave a review or not. If they say no, what happens is another box pops up and they can leave their comment. Please tell us why you didn't have an awesome experience. And as soon as they fill that out and hit send, you get that email. And this is very, very important, because you want to know if you have an unhappy customer. Majority of unhappy customers just leave and never come back. You want to make sure that your customers are happy. So if they have an issue, the first place they're going to go is you anyway. And if you're showing that and that they can vent, and you get that email, or that email showing what the issue was, when they hit no, a review is not left. It's just more for a communication with you and the customer. At that point, you call the customer and you resolve your issue, and then you ask them to leave a review again. You don't want people leaving and putting bad review about you somewhere else before it gets out on the internet. That's when it's really tough to remove. So this way, it acts as customer service in addition to asking for reviews. And you may uncover that someone wasn't happy, because some of our customers say yes, but yet deep down inside, maybe they felt that they didn't get exactly what they wanted. So it's important to uncover that. That also builds mega trust.
Interesting. Well, I know I certainly have learned lots today, and I hope you ladies have as well. Um,
Fantastic.
so, Joel, I have to say your book is very good. I have read it a couple times now since you've
Oh,
given
thank
it
you.
to me, and it is full of information. So if anybody is looking for another good book, business book to read, this is worth picking up and purchasing. And I believe, Joel, you can purchase that on your website, or is it
You
on
can
Amazon?
you can purchase it one of two ways. You can purchase it directly on Amazon, either a Kindle version or paperback version, or if you go to my website, you can purchase a paperback version, and it would be an autographed copy, and that gets shipped to you directly as well. So you have a couple of choices
Yeah.
that you can do. Yep.
Perfect. It is worthwhile reading, ladies. It's full of jam-packed information and to get your wheels going. And as for the review platform, take advantage of what Joel is offering you today. It is so worth it. When it ties into your website, it makes a huge difference. And I can tell you, honestly, it has made a huge difference for me and my business.
Thank you for that.
So,
Well,
yeah.
excellent. If anyone has any more questions, or if not, we can call it a webinar. We got an extra few minutes before lunch. I'm wishing all of you a great week, a wonderful weekend, and stay safe and healthy.
We will. Thank you, Joel, for coming on, and thank you, everyone, for tuning in again today. And tomorrow we have Patrick Tinney coming on, and he's a sales prospecting strategist, and you're going to just love Patrick as well. He's going to be like Joel, jam-packed full of information, and it's going to be a great day. He's going to actually talk to us about prospecting in this whole new world of through video communications and email and all that. So it's going to be a good day for learning for Friday.
Awesome.
So till tomorrow, enjoy your day, everyone. It's a beautiful sunshine out here, and what more can we ask for?
Thanks,
Awesome.
Sherry and Joel.
You're
Thank you,
welcome.
Darcel. Thank you, Kathy. Nice meeting both of you. Thank you, Alina.
Yes.
We'll see all of you again, I'm sure.
Yes, you will. Thanks, Joel.
You're welcome. Bye for now, everybody.